Hello everyone. Today we will discuss about tenses in detail. Tenses are time of an action in a sentence and which is centered around a subject. In grammar, tense is a category that expresses time reference. Tenses are usually manifested by the use of specific forms of verbs, particularly in their conjugation pattern. The main tense found in many languages include the past, present, and future. Today we will talk about specifically simple present tense or present indefinite tense. From Latin tempus, that means time. In modern linguistic theory, tense is understood as a category that expresses time. Time reference, namely one which using grammatical means places a state or a action in time. Not all languages have tenseless languages include such as Chinese, Dibral. Some languages have all three basic tenses, the past, present, and future as well, while others have only two. Some have past and non-past tenses, the latter conveying both present and future times. English has only two morphological tenses, the present and non-past. As it goes, as he goes, and the past as he went. The non-past usually refers the present, but sometimes refers the future as well. If we take the example, as we worry too much about tense, if you stopped 100 native English speakers in the street and asked about tenses, one of them might give you an intelligent answer. If you were lucky, by any chance, if you are lucky. The other 99 would know little about term like past, perfect, and present continuous, and they would know nothing about aspect, voice, and even mood. But they can all speak fluent English and communicate effectively. Some grammarians consider that, strictly speaking, there are only two English tenses, past and present. Others argue six, and even the number varies. For the sake of simplicity, learners of the English as a foreign or second language usually they are taught that we can take into account the account aspect and future models. There are 12 English tenses in English that we may talk about today. First of all, we'll discuss about simple present tense. So we may know about tenses, past, present, and future. So tenses demonstrate the time of an action in a sentence and usually performed by or centered around the subject of the sentence. So you can see here past tense, present tense, and future tense, and the actions are called verbs. So verb changes according to the tense. If we are talking about present tense, then the verb will come accordingly. If we are talking about future tense, the verb will come according to the future tense, and even the same thing is continued in past tense as well. Verbs are the most important element of English sentences. Tenses also carry paramount importance in the English grammar, and that we may discuss. There are types of tenses. We have divided them for the convenience into three: present tense, past tense, and future tense. So if we are talking about present tense, what we are currently doing, then we will talk in present tense. What you did some time back, that we will be talking about in past tense, and what you will do later in the upcoming future, that you will talk about in the future tense. Present tenses, there are four. We have divided further into four: present tense, present indefinite tense, present progressive tense, present perfect tense, and present perfect progressive tense. First of all, Today we will talk about present indefinite tense. The simple present tense also we call it. It is also known as simple present tense. It denotes a stative or habitual or eternally true action. Along with that, whatever you are doing in habit, you are in habit of doing, your habitual actions, your day-to-day activities, your regular activities, they come in this tense. It is generally used to indicate an action which happens always, regularly, every day, daily, normally, generally, usually, occasionally, and sometimes often, rarely, frequently nowadays, naturally, seldom, constantly, never, every a week, every year, once a year, on a week, at times, at present, now, and then. Or in this way, you can identify that in which tense we are talking. So present indefinite tense is used to describe an action that is regular, true. And for repeated or regular actions in the present time period, such as we can take the example, I take the train to the office. That is a habit. If we are talking about general facts and truths, the earth is not flat. The sun rises in the east. Water boils at 100 degrees centigrade. So if we are talking about some general truths, they are also taken in this tense. If we are talking something true in the present, he works on Wall Street. She is 60 years old. We live in New York. So suppose if we are talking about some truths that are in present, we will talk in this tense. Future timetables and schedules are also talked here, such as my train arrives tomorrow. We fly to Paris on Monday. Classes begin in next week. So some complications are also there, but still we will discuss about some general truths, some habits, and some facts that are talked in this tense. I'll take two examples also. You may understand it properly. A dog has 4 legs. This is a fact. We come from Switzerland or we come from India. That also can be talked if we are talking about certain facts. So facts, repeated or regular actions, and after that habit. If we are talking about a habit, then also we will talk in present indefinite tense. I get up early in the morning. She brushes her teeth twice a day. They travel to their country house every weekend. If this is a habit, we will definitely talk it in this tense. For things that are always generally true, we will also talk about those things in present simple tense. It rains a lot in winter. The Queen of England lives in Buckingham Palace. They speak English at work. If we are speaking these things, then definitely we have to speak or we need to take the help of present indefinite tense. So first of all, we should know what are the conditions, what are the situations in which we can use this tense, and later on we may know the structure and the pattern of this tense. Verb conjugation and spellings are also to be taken in account. We form the present tense using the base form of the infinitive without the to. In general, in the third person, we add s in the third person. You can see here some examples are also given. If we are using subject I, we, you, they, then we will not use s or es with the verb. And if we are speaking he, she, it, if we are taking the subject such as he, she, it, then we will use s along with the. If we talk about spelling of the verb in the third person, it differs depending on the ending of the verb. For example, verb that ends in O, CH, SH, double S, X or Z. We add ES in the third person. So you can see even the examples also. Go, it is ending with O, so that's why we are writing here ES. CH, if we are using catch, then also ES. Wash, SH, then also ES. Fix, X, then also ES. Buzz, Z, then also ES. And even you can see if we are taking a word double S, even then we are using ES after that. So you can see verb conjugation and spelling. There is a pattern that we need to follow. Once if we are aware about all these minute descriptions, we can automatically frame perfect verb patterns. For verb that end in a consonant plus Y, we remove the Y and add IES. Once if we are aware that if there is any Y and prior to that if there is a consonant, then we will add IES. Suppose MARRY, Mary. So before the word Y, there is a consonant R, so we are using IES, marries. Study, IES. Carry, IES. Worry, IES. Note, for you have to note the some specific examples for verbs that end in a vowel plus Y. We just add S. You can say if before the letter Y, if there is a vowel, then you will use only S. That is very easy. Once if you are aware, we can add on all these intricacies and we can frame the correct verb patterns. If enjoy, O is a vowel, so after that we are using S. Say, A is a vowel, so we are using S. So you can see these are some general rules. Verb ending in consonant plus E, then remove the E from the end of the verb and add ing. So there are certain rules that we may know once if we are aware of the patterns that we need to follow. So here we have learnt about consonant and vowels before Y. Negative sentences in the simple present tense, what do they say? So we can recall that the simple statements are made with the verb by putting S or ES after that. As we have seen, I, we, you, they, we will not add S or ES after the verb. But if we are using singular pronoun and he, she, it, name, then we will add S or ES. And what will be the pattern of adding S or ES, or that we have already discussed. Now we will discuss about negative sentences in the simple present tense. Once if we want to make negative sentence, then we normally use don't or doesn't with all verbs except to be and modal verbs, can, might, should, etc. So if we are talking, if we take affirmative sentence, then we will say you speak English. In the negative, you do not speak English. So you can see if you are using you will use do. If you are using he, she, it, name or singular noun, then you will use doesn't. You will see that we add don't between the subject and the verb. So this is the pattern that we have followed. In the affirmative sentence, if we are saying that if we have taken a singular noun in the beginning, such as he speaks German, he doesn't speak German, because he is a singular noun. So along with singular noun, we will use does not. So when the subject is he, she, it, name or any singular noun, we will use does not. If the subject is I, we, you, they, then we will use do not in place of does not. Negative contractions are to be taken care of, such as don't and doesn't. I do not like meal. I don't like meal. So you can see the contraction. we are putting D-O-N after that an apostrophe and T. There is no difference in meaning, though we normally use contractions in spoken English. So it is not necessary we are writing don't or do not or doesn't or does not. Still the meaning remains same. Questions in the simple present tense, if we wish to make, even then we need to use do and does. But how are we going to use? Let's see one example. Affirmative sentence, you speak English. The question, do you speak English? Because you is there. If we are using plural noun, I, we, you, they, we will use do in the beginning if we wish to make a question or an interrogative sentence. But if we are making a sentence or if the subject is singular such as he, she, it, name or any singular noun, then we will use does in place of do. He speaks French. The question will be, does he speak French? So this will be the sequence that we need to follow once if we are willing to make questions in the simple present tense. We do not use do or does in the question that have the verb to be or modal verbs such as can, must, might or should. This is the exception that is also to be discussed here. Word or order of the negative sentence is also important to see. We can see certain examples. It will be clear for you all. Once if you see example, you do not speak Arabic. John does not speak Italian. So you can see after the noun, we are using the helping verb do and does, after that not, and then the main verb, and after that the rest of the sentence, the object or what. We do not have time for a rest. It does not move. They do not want to go to the party. She doesn't like fish. So this is the sequence that we have observed in these examples, that first of all the subject such as I, we, you, they, he, she, it, singular, plural, noun. After that do and does. After that not, and then we will add verb. And along with that, after that rest of the sentence, whether it is object, whether it is complement to the subject, whether there is a phrase or whatever part, the remaining part will come after the verb. Word order of questions with do and does, what is it? Let's see or let's check out the sequence. First of all, we will put do if the subject is plural. Then after that, subject. First of all, do and does. If the subject is plural, we will put do. If we are using I, you, we, they or a plural noun as a subject, we will put do. And after that, verb that in the first sentence you can check out is need. And after that, the rest of the sentence, that is a dictionary. So, don't forget to put question mark at the end. But if in case you are using the subject singular such as marry or he, she, it or any other singular noun, in that case you will use does in the beginning, after that the subject marry, then the verb in the base form need, a dictionary, the rest of the sentence. And you can also observe some more examples that will clarify if there is any doubt in your mind, such as do we have a meeting now, and then question mark. Don't forget to put a question mark at the end. Does it rain a lot in winter? Does they want to go to party? Does he like pizza? So this is the sequence that we follow, word order of question with do and. So in this way, today we have discussed about simple present tense. In the upcoming session, we will discuss about present continuous tense and the action which is continuous, how to take that, how can we talk about that action, what is the importance and significance of an action that is continuous, that we will discuss in the upcoming time.